want?
Justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! If we don't get it, shut it down! If we don't get it, shut it down!
So tell me your name, please.
I'm Claudia with Cabin Talk.
And Claudia, why are we marching for democracy today?
Because our democracy has definitely been stolen, and we're on the way to become a fascist country, and that's no good.
And you've been organizing now for some time. You've recently written a book about this aspect.
I actually was live streaming for the last year almost, and now I recently wrote a book, and I just want to raise awareness about what is going on, because there's so much.
And what do you feel is the most important message to get out there about our democracy?
Well, it has to start with elections that actually get counted. That would be the number one. To actually have hand-counted paper ballots in every state. Maybe we'll let them pass.
And we've seen third-party candidates almost totally erased from the election.
And I mean, the same is happening to Jill Stein that happened to Bernie in the primaries, which is she doesn't get any media presence hardly at all. And if it is, it's like, why are you a spoiler, you know? And that's not an interview. And the same thing we know happened to Bernie in the primaries. And the media, in the meantime, is so corrupt, which is why people like me and many other live streamers, you know, like Tim Black, you know, Debbie, the same progressive. There are many of them out there that are doing a much better job than I do, actually. And we need them because the mainstream media is no longer reporting news. At this point, they're just basically spouting off rhetoric that helps the establishment. They're a mouthpiece for the establishment, they're not news. Investigative journalism basically has died in this country.
And what is it going to take for us to get investigative journalism back?
What it would take is, number one, that journalists don't get arrested when they actually do, like Amy Goodman a few weeks ago at the North Dakota Access Pipeline. I mean, how can a journalist get arrested for telling the truth? For being there doing journalism, for reporting, you know. She wasn't part of a riot, she wasn't inciting a riot, she wasn't doing anything, she was merely doing her job. And when that is no longer possible, we're heading for a fascist regime instead of a democracy.
And what is the message that this crowd's trying to send today?
They want their vote to count. They want the money, the dollar to not be important than what voting is built. I mean, look at it this way. Money, taxes, everything we experience is built so that we can protect our right to vote. Everything is built around that idea. So when you take away your ability to vote through disenfranchisement at the party level or at the national level by not giving them a choice of candidates, of course people are going to feel like they're on the outside. Not to mention, we're talking about people that have already lost everything to some degree or another. They've already been rebuilding, and they're not rebuilding. It's not coming back the way it was before. We're looking at fractions of what people are used to, and that's just not right.
Whose house? Our house! 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 Whose house?
And one interesting aspect was in the elections, in the debates, none of this was mentioned. There wasn't even an issue brought up about climate.
Right. Yeah, and right there, that tells you everything you need to know about the elections. You know, right there, that tells us everything we need to know. There was no talk about the climate. There was no talk about poverty. You know, there was no talk about how to $15 minimum wage. When did Hillary ever bring that up? Except for, you know, in New York, when it was the popular thing to do in the primaries, where she's standing there going, yeah, I was for $15 minimum wage. I mean, it couldn't be more bullshit, you know?
Well, tell me, Are you going to run for president?
No. No, I don't think that's my calling. I think
Okay.
my calling is to grow organic vegetables and save animals.
Thank you so much, Claudia.
Thank you. Thank you.